excited to make this video because 2016 has brought some really amazing albums into the world, and I'm so excited that we are going to talk about 11 of them today. And yeah, let's just get started! So it's going to be really metal oriented, so just be aware of that if you're not really the metal enthusiast, because it's going to be a lot of metal on this album on this list, and pretty much only metal, but yeah, let's get talking. So I thought we could start from the bottom up, and number 11 is okay, I'm going to pronounce a lot of things wrong on this list, so just bear with me. And the number 11th album is Gramarye by Lotus Thief, and originally the list was just going to be 10 albums. But then I listened to this album and I was like, I need to have this on my list, so it's number 11, it just has to be. And the reason why this particular album is on the list is because of the last song on the album, which is called Ihsahn. Oh my god, it's so cool. I really enjoy listening to Ihsahn. It's a longer song, it's quite long actually. I think it's 9 minutes something, I think. And when I first listened to it, it has sort of this similar vibe through the entire album. But the reason why Ihsahn is just so special, it's sort of hard to explain, but when I listened to it, the other songs were like in the background and you could have it on and listen to it and it was all fine. But when Ihsahn got on, it was like you had to stop doing whatever you were doing, because Ihsahn just has to be paid attention to. It has something just really special about it, and I just really fell in love with Ihsahn just completely. So please, by all means, go check it out, because Ihsahn is something worth listening to. I really enjoy it. Yeah. So album number 10 is Testament, Brotherhood of the Snake. And I have not listened to a lot of Testament earlier, but when Brotherhood of the Snake came along, it was like, ooh, it's so cool! And I really enjoyed it. And my two favorite songs from the album is probably Seven Seals and Born in a Rut, just because of the rhythms. When the drum kicks in sort of the intro part in Seven Seals, it's like, it's so cool. And in Born in a Rut, it has just the rhythm just in general, and it has some breaks during the song where it has sort of this non-playing musical vibe to it. And I am a great fan of silence in music. I think that silence in music is such a powerful tool to use, and Born in a Rut does it just so well, and I'm really impressed with Brotherhood of the Snake. And number 9 is Devin Townsend project with Transcendence. And there you as well have some really cool songs, and I would like to just talk about the album art, because oh my god, it has a really great album cover. But yeah, this song Truth is just really something to listen to. And Offer Your Light is sort of my second favorite of that album, and again with sort of the Testament thing, where the same thing is the reason why my two favorite songs are my two favorite songs. It's the same on this album, just that this time it's the vocals that makes it my favorite songs. Because in Truth you have this blend of metal and choir, and really often I think that metal and choir is difficult to mix, because you can get too much of one or the other, but in Truth I think that the choir and the metal part of music is equally powerful, and it makes for a really statement expression or what you can call it. I'm just really, really, really into Truth. And the same with Offer Your Light. It has a cool sort of bass for this song just in general, but I think that the vocals are the thing that are sort of oh my god, I can't think of the word. That's sort of shoving the songs in the right direction, because it has the specific bass in this song, not the bass like in bass guitar, but the bass in like the groundwork of the song is it's cool, but it has a really you can really easily fall quite far down with the song if you're not doing the things correctly or so. It can seem like a really different expression than what you might be after, and the songs, the vocals in this song is just so powerful that it just bears the entire song with just a straight back and really great pride. And I am so impressed with the vocals on this song, because when I first heard the song I was like, oh, it's cool, but I'm not sure where this is going, and then the vocals kicked in and I was like, okay, it's going in this direction, and I was hoping it would, and then it just became my favorite. And the next two albums is the proof that Swedish people really know how to make great music. And in terms of metal or sort of progressive music, I am so impressed with Swedish people. Great job, Sweden. And number 8 is Meshuggah, The Violent Sleep of Reason. And oh my god, it has a really great track just in general, and the vibe is just so in your face, you just can't not listen to it, and I love it so much. And I would have to say that in Our Rage Won't Die, the intro is just so insanely badass that it just has to be my number 1 favorite on the album. It's just so cool. And Ivory Tower, oh my god, just the entirety of Ivory Tower is just so cool. I really enjoy listening to that album, and it's sort of it's nice to have these albums that are just in its entirety just super heavy, and I really like it, because sometimes you are in the mood for something badass and brutal and you just need that in your life. So yeah, Meshuggah, just awesomeness. And number 7! Yeah, number 7 is Opeth. Oh my god, Opeth, yes! And there I had some really struggling to find my favorite songs, because there are so many great tracks, but the title track, Sorceress, is probably my number 1 favorite. Yeah, I would say that's my number 1 favorite, because it has these contrasts of happy versus heavy, because in the intro and in the outro it's this happy sort of bubbly almost music that's just jumping around and just having fun, and it's a really happy vibe, and I'm so into just the entire song really. But in the middle it just goes into this heavy, and I just really like it. I like it so much. And yeah, can you even... Sorceress 2 is also pretty cool, but Sorceress is just awesome. And my second favorite song on the Sorceress album is Chrysalis. Is that how you say it? Chrysalis? Anyways, when Chrysalis starts, it's cool, but in 1 minute, I think it's actually 55 seconds if I'm being super picky, but after about 1 minute, it just kicks into this almost Pink Floyd vibe where it just goes its completely own way, and I like it so much. It was, when the first time I listened to it, I was like, whoa, what just happened? Because you have this interpretation of where you think the song is going, and then it just goes Pink Floyd on you and just like, nope, I'm not going here. You can just sit down and listen to me because I'm doing my own thing like just no one's business, and it's so cool. I really enjoyed that song. It's a really close race between Sorceress and Chrysalis, but oh my god, it's so cool. Yeah, so that's number 7. And number 6, I am so excited because when I saw the album name, I suspected it, and when I saw the last track, I was almost sure. When I saw the name Arktis, I was like, this could be Norwegian, and oh my god, it is. It's a Norwegian composer, and I'm not sure how to say his name properly. Ihsahn? Sort of embarrassing that I'm Norwegian myself and I don't know how to say his name. It's too many H's, I don't know how to deal with H's. It's Ihsahn, I think, and the album is Arktis, and it's so cool. And the fact that he's Norwegian is like, I'm proud, like, for him or so, because it's awesome music. We have to call it what it is. He is not on my list because he is a Norwegian. I found out that later, but oh my god, he has some great tracks on this album or so. My 2 favorite songs on Arktis is Celestial Violence and Pressure. And the reason why Celestial Violence is on my favorite is because it has sort of this, I'm not sure how to say it as I sort of experience it or so, but I feel like it's almost like a battle between calm and stormy, because you have this really soft side of the song that's just calm and just really laid back and just, yeah, it just sits with you and it's really friendly and so, and you have this really stormy side of the song. And I think it's a really nice blend of these contrasts, and I really like it. And the name actually is quite cool, even though it's somewhat difficult to pronounce. But yeah, anyways, and Pressure, number 2 favorite song. It has just this big sound, and I would assume that as a composer, it would, for me personally at least, when I make music, I really look for the big sound picture. When you can make a big sound picture without it being muddy or mushy or just too much, you have done a great job, because it's difficult to incorporate a lot of elements to your music without it being like, oh, you're either run out of ideas and you're just trying to mush it all together to make it sound okay, or you are just trying out everything at once. But in Pressure, it's like you have just layered the elements just properly, just right, and I really like it. I enjoy it so much, and I'm so impressed with this album, and I really like the album art as well. It really caught my eye, and I was like, what's this? And yeah, I really like it. And number 5, I am not going to say this right, I just know it right now. Anciients? Anciients? Anyway, The Voice of the Void. It's so cool! And my favorite song on this one is probably Worshipper. And Worshipper has this intro where it's like, it's this synth intro, and you start with 2 sort of intervals or notes or so, and the one is sort of building up to the other, and it's really sort of, it just makes your heart melt when it hits, when you have this dissonance that just comes and sort of lies here. But what really caught my eye, my ear, my attention is that when it comes here, it actually continues, and that was just groundbreaking for me. Not groundbreaking in terms of that I've never heard it before, but oh my god, it was so cool because I didn't expect it. I expected it to actually land here, to sort of build from this particular chord, that it sort of meets and it just happens right here, and then it continued and I was like, ah, what's happening? I love it! I love it! So that's my #1 favorite of the album. And I can't not talk about Descending. When I heard Descending, I was like, I just put it on sort of every single playlist that I have, because it just fits for everything. It was such a The Last of Us vibe almost, with this calm harmonic and disharmonic music just playing along, just having a great time, and I just, oh man, I just really liked it. I'm really impressed, as I said, when people are able to make big sound pictures without getting mushy, and I'm also really impressed when people make sort of with few instruments and few notes or harmonies, they make music. They make music that lasts for as long as music should last, and I just really like it. It's a close race between the two favorite songs, but I would say that Worshipper is probably my favorite, but Descendants is quite far up there as well. And #4, this is probably the last album that is going to be the sort of surprise on this list, because my top 3 favorites I have just been going on and on about for the last couple of months, and one of them I have actually been going on for almost a year. It's just insane. But either way, Fleshgod Apocalypse with King. Oh my god, I was so excited when I listened to this album, because it's sort of this going to war vibe, orchestra vibe, metal. What? It's just everything. I really like it. And again, the album art is just wow. Job well done. The album is sort of split in two, where you have the original album, which is sort of the music makers playing of the album with guitars and drums and vocals and everything, and you have the second part of the album, which is the orchestral version of the album. And I have sort of one-ish favorite from the band playing album part, and one favorite of the orchestra part. And on the band playing part, March Royale into the second song, which is in Iterum. I'm pronouncing that wrong, I'm sorry. But the sort of overlap between the songs, wow, it counts as sort of one song. It is technically 2 songs, but it is counting as one song, sort of, because in March Royale you start pretty slow or small or so, and you just build your way up the entire way with just drums and choir and just everything, and it gets more and more badass. And when you think you have reached the ultimate sort of, can you even get more badass right now? It kicks into band playing metal music in the same vibe as you got from the choir and the drums, and it's just insane. I really like when you're listening to a song and you listen to it and it's in its entirety, and the next song comes on and you suddenly realize that you're listening to the next song, because the sort of transition is so smooth. And if you listen to just one of them, it's not that it cuts in the middle. It's not an unfinished song if you don't play it with both of them. It's just so insanely cool when you play them together, and it's so, oh my god, can you even? And the orchestral version of those two, as well as, oh my god, it's just so cool. And in the orchestral version you have Healing Through War, and okay, and the Vulture and the Vulture Behold. Those two in the orchestral version, oh my god, it's just so insanely powerful, and the play between sort of being in-your-face badass, just have everything going on at once, to just come completely down again, especially in the end, the Vulture Behold. I am so having struggles with that name. But anyways, in that song, you have really a play of going up and down in terms of intensity and dramatically, and oh man, it's just so cool. It's just so cool. Oh my god. And we are now in the top 3, where there are no surprises, I assume. My top 3 favorite album this year, on 3rd place is Metallica, Hardwired to Self-Destruct. Oh my god, those guys just seems to just spit out great songs. And talking about spit out great songs, Spit Out the Bone is probably my favorite song of that album just ever. It's so cool, I love it. It's the speed and intensity and just, oh my god, it's so cool. And the way he says spit out the bone, it's just, he just flies through your speakers when he says that. Oh my god, it's just so cool. And Moth into Flame, I said I was going to have 2 favorite songs of every album on this list, and Moth into Flame has to be the second one. It's just, wow. The chorus, I think, is the reason why Moth into Flame is sort of has to be there over sort of Hardwired and Atlas Rise and Mankind and every one of those, because there are so many great songs on Hardwired to Self-Destruct, and I just love it. And yeah, the second favorite album, the sort of on the second place of my all-time favorite songs or albums of this year is Gojira, Magma. Oh my god, I sort of called it pretty much as soon as it came out that this was going to be quite far up on my list, and I sort of knew that Metallica was going to come out with a new album, but I didn't really realize the competition it was going to have. But Silvera by Gojira sort of just keeps it up there. In Silvera, everything is done right, especially the chorus. The chorus in Silvera is just so insanely well made in terms of how I like music to be made. The tapping, which is just insane, and the going between the sort of minor feel and ending on a major note. It's just such a powerful way of making music. And when he says change the world, and it goes sort of in this rising note or so, it's just insane. Oh my god. And the music video is just a beast. And yeah, I'm so impressed. And Stranded has to be sort of Stranded or Magma in itself. Yeah, or this Shooting Star. Okay, let's land on Stranded. Stranded is such a cool song. And the intro, I think, is what makes it sort of out-conquer the 2 others, or sort of 10 others for that sake. Because in the intro, the drums and the guitars are just right, and you actually have a shift in the drums at the very last part of the intro before the verse kicks in. And this shift sort of makes everything count sort of on the backside or so. It's called something, and I can't recall what it's called, but it's called something. I think it begins on a T or so. I'm not sure. But the drums sort of shifting and then kicking into the verse again. Oh man, oh man. And Gojira is probably, yeah, it's one of my favorite sort of bands of all time now, because Gojira is just man beasts. And the newer songs of Gojira is so cool, and I realized after listening to Magma that they have so many great songs on other albums. Terra Incognita is so cool as well, with Clone and Love, Backbone and everything. Oh my god, I love it! So, my #1 album this year, based on just everything, is Avenged Sevenfold, The Stage. It's probably not a surprise to anyone, really, but I am just so impressed with this album. It is definitely a better vibe, I think, than Hail to the King. I was sort of not worried when I heard Hail to the King, but they were definitely trying something new, which is sort of how bands should work, and so but I think that Avenged Sevenfold makes some great melodic and fast sort of, or heavy, I should say, heavy sort of metal songs, and the screaming and the really powerful vocals or so is really my style of music. And when they sort of went with this more laid-back hard rock or sort of slower paced music, which they did in Hail to the King, I was so happy when I heard that the speed is back in The Stage. And oh my god, just the concept of The Stage. As some of you might know, I am a huge Avenged Sevenfold fan, and I am a huge fan of space. And the theme for The Stage is artificial intelligence and space. And I love those two things so much. With Avenged Sevenfold as well, going back to sort of more heavy or more intricate music making, oh my god, I love it so insanely much. And in terms of this list where I had to pick 2 favorite songs, this was definitely the most difficult album to pick just 2 favorite songs from, because there are no songs on the album that sort of defines the album, and I think that is something they were sort of looking for when they made the album. So check on that one. But there are no tracks that sort of define the album. That's like, oh, you can listen to this one song and then you just get the essence of the album in its entirety. But if I had to choose just 2, which I have done, I would have to say Creating God is probably my very favorite song of the album. If I had to choose sort of life or death or so, Creating God would probably be my favorite, with some really great competition. Because the verse in Creating God is just so insanely cool that I can barely even handle it. Because the sort of minimalistic part of the guitar with the sort of laid back, or not laid back, but just sort of broken up drum beats with the sort of guitar just laid on top of some of it, just not all of it. Oh my god, it's just so cool. And oh my god, it's just, can you even? And Exist is probably my second favorite. The intro guitar solo, which sort of lasts for 4 minutes or whatever, it's such a cool song, and it's so intricate. I've tried to play it and it's just man beast all over. And as well as being sort of this beast mode in the beginning and the sort of speech part in the last bit, the in-between, the sort of sailing away beyond the reach of anyone sort of parts, is just, oh my god, when he sings that and they have split the harmony into sort of your left ear or your right ear, I just have to have both in at the same time, because oh my god, the harmony of that with the calmness where you're coming from this beast mode and you're in this calmness, it's just something really special. So Creating God and Exist is the 2 songs that I choose to say are my favorites, but I know deep in my heart that I have much more than just those 2 as my favorites. But oh my god, I love it. I love it so much! Thank you so much for watching, and please let me know if there are some albums that you think should be higher up or lower down, or if there are some albums that I haven't on this list, and sort of honorable mentions. And yeah, it's just, oh my god, can you believe 2016? It's just been insane. I am so happy that we are just having all these albums this year. It's insane. I'm so sort of proud of the music industry. It has just produced every awesomeness ever. And yeah, so yeah, that's this video, and it's probably going to be super long, but yeah, thank you for sticking with me for this long, and I'll see you next year, actually. That's pretty exciting. So yeah, I'll see you in 2017, and have a wonderful celebration of 2016. And I know some people have sort of made the point that 2016 has been quite a difficult year or so, but I think it's really important to celebrate it for what it is. And in the music industry, it has been such an amazing year in terms of released albums. And yeah, just spread happiness and be awesome, and I'll see you in 2017.